Here's number 1. Good luck, Aiden. Godspeed. Number 2. If negative 2 is a 0 of the polynomial, what does that mean? Negative 2 is a 0 of the polynomial.
It's a solution.
If you plug it in, it makes the function equal to 0.
Wait, you have braces?
So that means if we put in negative 2 where x was, the whole thing should be equal to 0 because negative 2 is a 0 of the function. So you solve that for k basically, is what they're asking. Kind of did this, they did a similar trick on chapter 1.
Negative 6.
Let's see, that'd be 8 minus, well, not quite.
It is 6.
6, yeah.
Frick. Wait, is it negative 2 squared 4?
Yeah.
4 times 2 is 8.
8 is 6.
You were right the first time.
Yes.
Yes, sir! Get on my level, Mr. Jordan. You're small body.
You're just not on his level.
Someday, maybe.
Maybe you'll become a mathematician like myself.
Yeah. Number
Maybe you
3.
can become
Okay, so a polynomial, oh gosh. I forgot about this one.
No.
Are you guys done?
Yeah.
Now you got that Mariah Carey song stuck in there.
Same.
I didn't even sing it. I didn't sing it, I just said it.
You made me sing it by saying it.
Okay, yeah. Maybe we should just all sit down and Brady would come up here and do a solo.
Yes.
Dude,
If he sang that song, it would get out of our heads.
We'll record it for Aiden because I know he
If
will.
Brady can get one correct answer, then he can do it. Yes.
Pulls out the calculator.
Yeah. Which one can I do with the calculators?
Yeah.
I don't know if the calculators can save you anymore. Okay, no. Number 3. A polynomial p of x is divided by x minus 2. The quotient is 2x squared plus x minus 2. The remainder is negative 1. Find the original polynomial p of x.
That seems hard.
Any ideas?
I don't know.
You
Okay.
do the reverse factor.
Yeah, well, what do you mean reverse factor?
Well, you do x negative 2, and then you factor that with the factors of the 2x squared plus x minus 2. Yeah. Dude.
What's the remainder? Negative 1.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Okay.
do you guys remember how we wrote remainders in polynomial division? Usually I put the remainder over the divisor, like you do with the fraction, like when you're doing a fraction remainder. Okay, if this divided by this equals that, then how do I find this? Multiply this times this.
That's what I said, but I just didn't say it goodly.
Yeah.
That's what he said, he just didn't say it though.
Huh?
That's what he said. He just said something else.
He said that, but like not.
Okay.
I said that, but unintelligently.
Alright, listen to this.
Now, let's talk about the remainder for a second. What is x minus 2 times negative 1 times x minus 2?
1. Negative 1.
Negative 1. So what happens is x minus 2 and x minus 2, like, that's a time.
But then
Cancel
1
out.
minus
So it's just
1.
a negative 1. So really what we need to do is just
Cry.
this, x times all these, minus 2 times all these, and then just put the minus 1 at the end of that. Does that make sense? I remember trying to explain that. I think I did a better job this time than I did way back in chapter 2, but anyways.
So it would be a minus 3.
So if I multiply the x out, I get 2x cubed plus x squared minus 2x. And then if I multiply the minus 2 out, I get minus 4x squared minus 2x plus 4. And I'm just going to throw that net remainder kind of on the end there, minus 1. And I'm going to add my like terms. 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 1 is positive 3.
Wait, what did you say for the minus 1?
What do you
Wait,
mean?
how did you get the plus 3?
Right there.
Oh, wait. Is that it?
Yep, okay, number 3, no 4. Two roots of the equation are 2 and negative 3, find the remaining roots.
Is that number 4?
Yeah, 4.
This is where I fail.
We can take out. No, we can't.
Okay, if we know an answer is 2, what's the best way to say this?
So don't we divide it twice by 2 and negative 3?
Yes. If we know 2 is an answer, then I know that x minus 2 is a factor. Do you guys know what I mean? Do you guys know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So let me back up as if you don't. So this factors to what goes in negative 4 that adds up to 3.
1 and 4.
So these are the factors. These multiply to get that. And if this is a factor, what are my answers?
Negative 4 and 1.
So I'm saying it backwards. If on number 4, if I know 2 is an answer, I know that x minus 2 is a factor. So what I can do is divide out x minus 2.
Synthetic.
Yes, synthetic would be the best way. Divide out that answer. And I can divide out the x equals negative 3. I can divide that answer out. And what that'll leave me with is a quadratic. What's a quadratic? X squared. And we can solve x squareds by factoring or quadratic formula. So I'm going to divide out the two answers. Well, that's not it. I'm going to divide out the two answers that they gave me, which was positive 2 and negative 3. But I'm going to do it with synthetic division. So, what goes in the box? 2. 2 is an answer. X minus 2 is the factor, but you put 2 in the box, basically. Okay, and then my coefficients are 1, 1, negative 5, 1, negative 6. Still a lot of work either way you do it. Add down, multiply up, add down, multiply up, add down. If we do this right, it should come out with a remainder of 0. Because we know this is a 0 of the function. This is an answer to that equation. It's a root. Okay. This represents a cubic equation. I'm not going to change it though, because I still need to take out the other answer of negative 3. Add down, multiply up. Add down, multiply up. Add down, multiply up. Add down.
So that is x squared plus 1.
Yes. This is the remainder. This is the constant 1. This is the x term, none. This is the x squared term. So this is x squared plus 1 equals 0. How can I solve this for x?
It's just negative 1 there, plus 1.
Subtract 1 and then square root it.
Yeah.
All I want for. You said if I got one right.
I never said that. That was Drew's idea.
No, you.
Approved by you.
Is it plus or minus I?
Yeah.
I'm Josh and I said.
Well, we can vote to ratify that bill.
So whenever you use the square root trick, you gotta put plus or minus, because negative whatever squared is also gonna give you the same thing. Okay, number 5. Brady just had a memory of teaching Ashley this problem.
Oh, really?
Or a problem don't like it. Not exactly this one.
She probably
Good
knew how to do it.
Is this 5?
Yeah, I was copying it down. You guys remember how we did this one? Probably not.
Is that kid?
Yeah.
Boy.
Okay,
He puts the video of him making a present.
what shape
It was at the end. Whenever.
is this gonna take?
Even time.
Okay, what's the degree of this function?
2.
No,
1.
4. 2, if we multiplied it all together, we get an x to the 4th. The degree is 4. What shape did x to the 4th take?
It was a W.
W. Okay, if it's cubed, it was kind of like an n, x cubed is kind of like an n shape. X fourth is W, x to the 5th would be like more curves. Even powers go like up, up, or down, down. Odd powers go down to up. So this is cubed, this is the 5th. You kind of cheat and use a graphing calculator and plug it in and see what it looks like though. But so the way we graphed it, we're just sketching it. We're not doing a perfect graph, but we figured out what the zeros of the function were. What x values would make this equal to 0?
1, negative 2, and 0.
1, negative 2, and 0. So you put a dot at 1, negative 2, and 0. That's where it's going to cross the x-axis.
Then you just draw it.
No.
No.
Okay. 0 is a what?
Double root.
Double root. Also, this is a negative function, like negative x to the 4th. So what shape will that take? Instead of a W, it'll be more like an M.
Wait, I thought this was an x squared.
It's X.
Yeah, if you multiply all the x's together, like if we put everything together, it'd be a negative x to the 4th. Would be the, so it's like negative 1 is the leading coefficient, x to the 4th, 4 is the degree. So it's instead of going up, up, it's going to go down, down. And 0 is a double root. You guys remember what happens at double roots?
It bounces.
It just, yeah.
It kisses.
It,
It doesn't go through.
yeah, okay, kids, it's fine. So yeah, it goes up to it and doesn't go through, it just kind of touches and then keeps going and anyway, so it should look something like that.
So weird looking end.
Yeah.
Matthew, don't forget the arrows. Hatred boys.
Matthew, like the day after he graduates, gonna like go slash my tires.
In the shape of arrows. like these arrows?
He's gonna like key -1 to the side of your car.
No, it was minus a half.
Oh,
Was it really?
oh, I'm gonna do
Oh,
that.
I don't know, maybe it was minus 1.
No, it's minus like a half.
How would you?
I'll do
you never
minus a half.
really-
Yeah, I do. For all the -1 halves that you gave me.
In that case, you're gonna be working for hours on the car.
Senior prank.
Yeah.
Senior prank is $5,000 of damage.
It's just a prank. It's just a joke. It's fine.
What should we
It
try,
was
Josh?
prank from John.
Prank.
I feel like his eyes are slightly open. Can you see his right eye?
No, he's gone. He's gone.
Joshua, it's time to wake up.
I was kind of thinking, what if I threw a cap at him, but then it went in his mouth and choked him?
I'm not gonna lie. Wait.
You're so wasted.
You're in heaven, Josh.
Gotta
Welcome to
think I was
math class.
thinking about something.
The worst time ever.
You guys interrupted my
Rachel, this is not
Watch that
heaven
couch
for you.
just be
Yeah.
like,
Just
just a math
You're
that you
you're
constantly have to
Yeah.
learn.
That reminds me, we used to have a
Horrible.
What's the first thing you're gonna do?
7th grader who was like taking a nap and he woke up and he was like,
Josh,
I know these.
am I in
you're still
heaven?
dreaming,
And then he
Josh.
turned around and he said,
Oh,
oh
I
no,
was
Baron's
asking
here.
today about
Never
something.
mind.
Wait.
You said what?
He said, oh, Baron's here, never mind.
Am I open?
No.
That's kind of mean. Baron just like,
That thing's gonna be the best.
If you know who Baron was, you would get it. All right.
Squinty.
Probably should have said that on the video.
I was curious.
So, number 6. Give an equation of the cubic graph shown at the right. All right. -3 is a root. If -3 is a root, what is a factor? X plus 3.
Is it?
Is this number 6?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see
That's
negative.
the
This is the
graph.
barn equation?
No.
I'm
You're on the
what?
wrong page.
Give an equation
Are
of
we on the
the
wrong page or you-
cubic graph shown at the right. The graph.
Oh, gotcha.
Number.
So on the graph crosses at -3, that means x plus 3 is a factor.
Does a factor mean a 0?
No, a factor is something that multiplies to get the polynomial.
Oh,
looks
okay,
like
we're
this.
trying to find like the most area.
That's number 7, yeah. Okay, on number 6, so -1 is a root. You guys see where I'm getting these from?
Yeah.
So what's another factor?
1, x plus 1.
And 1 is a root, so
X minus 1.
okay, here's the problem though. We want, when the x value is 0, the function should equal 1, because the y-intercept's at 1. So what we have to do is figure out a multiplier to put out here so that when x is 0, the function value is supposed to be equal to 1.
It is what?
Negative 1.
Okay, this is 3 times 1 times -1. So a times -3 equals 1.
So 8 times -1/3.
A equals
Yeah.
-1/3. So that would make it happen. So the answer would just be this, with the -1/3 right there.
Yay.
I guess if we want function notation, we could call it f of x equals.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
There. Okay, number 7. This is your guys' favorite, wasn't it? The barn problem?
Oh, yeah. Love it. So much fun.
Do you have any recollection of how we did it?
No.
You do all the slides at this time. I remember that.
So you do 120 minus
Oh, Drew already read
4x.
it. Yeah, that's part of it. A rectangular enclosure subdivided into 3 congruent pins as shown is to be made using a barn as one side and 920 meters of fencing for the rest, the other 3 sides and the stuff in between. Find the value of x that gives the maximum area for the enclosure.
You're interrupting our class.
Yeah, or you're also interrupting Josh's now.
Again. No, he was having a good day. Honestly, just leave him there at that point. He already knows.
Then you give him some of your truth.
Josh, not sleeping at night?
No.
We We had a
got
basketball
home
game that
last
started
night.
at 8:30 last night, so we got home.
Oh, you're on the basketball team?
Yeah, we got home at like midnight.
I didn't go to bed till like 2:30.
Yeah, because no friend Michael says so.
It was the game. It was rough.
I mean, you didn't
Yeah, I don't know why you're complaining, Drew. You didn't have basketball.
It was rough.
Oh, well, I still went to bed at like 1:30.
I went to bed at
That's
3.
true, right?
I'm not in basketball, I just did.
That was part of it.
3:30.
Yeah. I fell asleep at 10:30.
I'm already
I used to go to bed at like 6 a.m. every night, but
6 a.m. What the heck?
yeah, I used to stay up like playing Call of Duty when I had friends. You know?
Well, no.
I killed
Okay, 3 pins. We'll call the width X. So if the width is X, then all of these are X. And how do you find the... Okay, so what could I call this side?
Why?
No.
120 minus 4.
Right. 120 minus 4X. Because there's 120 meters of fencing, but X of it is going to be used for each of these sides. Okay, how do you find the area of a rectangle?
Oh, you use the area formula.
Base times height. So,
Equals.
or length times width. This times this would give us the area of all the pins together.
So 120 minus 4x.
Equals X.
120 minus 4X, the
That's
base
times.
times the height
Times X
gives
equals.
us the area. Look at that A, look how fancy
Fancy.
I am. And that's basically the area formula. A of X,
Isn't it based on height?
I'm gonna-
Or is that-
yeah, base times height is area of a rectangle.
So it's not.
I'm gonna rewrite it like that. Okay. What shape would this take on a graph?
No. Oh, that would be the,
Like
But I have
a
Right.
dimension,
oh.
Is it like this or like this?
like that. The second one.
it's
Second one.
upside down.
Yeah, -4 means upside down.
And it's deeper.
The biggest area is basically going to be the vertex of the parabola. How did we find the vertex of the parabola?
Can you put it in a calculator?
Did I tell you guys
Negative A would be-
I tell you guys you could make notes for this test, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This would be a good note. -b over 2a
For what?
That's the vertex.
gives you the x coordinate of the vertex.
Gives X of one.
Gives you the x coordinate of the vertex. A lot of steps on this problem.
Is this the last one we're doing on this test?
I am the champion of A's. You'd think I'd be good at B's. It's harder to make B's
I agree.
pretty.
I think
Oh.
it's so bad at writing. To be.
That's your notes.
Bethany.
There's my sign.
I'm so bad. I feel like the B is what makes my name.
Oh, I can understand.
It just messes up the whole vibe.
Back to bed, my three friends.
I noticed that every single
Remember when we first got to middle school and we saw smart boards? Like we had just come from chalkboards to smart boards and we really thought it was so cool how you could make stuff.
Yeah, pretty cool every time. First time I ever seen it. Okay, negative b would be -120 times 2a would be -8. 2 times -4. So what's that reduced to? 15, I think.
15.
Okay, so that means when x is 15, that's going to give us the x stood for the width of the pins, basically. That's going to give us the maximum area of all those pins. So if the question is how long, what should the width of the pins be? It's 15. If the question is what's the maximum area you can find, how would we find the maximum area?
Yeah, do.
You put 15. 15 is the x value. So if you plug 15 in like here or here, or up here, you could even think of it. If you plug in 15 for the x, like right here, 4 times 15 is 60, 60 times 120 minus 60, 60, 60 times 4 is 240. So the maximum area is 240 square meters. So if they're asking what should the width of the pins be, 15. If they're asking what's the maximum area, is 240. They're asking find the value of x. So I could have stopped at 15. But back when we did that assignment, they kind of did both. Sometimes they asked how wide should the fence be. Sometimes they asked what's the area.
Is that how it's gonna be on the test?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Requires the use of a computer or graphing calculator. I give up.
I don't know. Well, we did a lot of graphing stuff.
No, why not?
You don't want to?
No.
You're gonna cry? There's no crying in that class.
I'm gonna
This is the
cry.
only class I actually I know, like on a regular basis.
I had an idea. When the bell rings, no one wake Josh up.
You know, the bell will wake him up.
Maybe not.
He's only barely unconscious. I
I
really want to shove something in his nose. That's probably not.
Weird thing you squirt your mix in his mouth.
That's too far. Yeah.
Looks like we get a red marker.
Oh, we can do Simba. Jackson, you bring him up. What do you do? Like, you
Oh,
put him in a
chair.
chair.
Put this on my chair. Like the third time. Wait.
Back to bed. Josh. This is just a part of your dream.
It's just a part of my dream.
It's a dream.
This is the
Inception.
yeah.
DiCaprio.
Someone drive me home.
Can someone drive?
You can drive me home if you don't remember.
No, my phone. Wait.
All right. Okay. We'll skip the graph. You guys remember how to do? You guys remember how to use the graphing calculators on those?
No, yeah,
That's what I'm
you just
saying.
press the
Like-
Y button.
You hit second, calculate, and then put like option 2 for the zeros of the function, and then it'll say what's the left bound, what's the right bound. Remember doing all that?
You press like trace and
Yeah.
Yeah, second trace. Okay, number 9. How do we solve that? Actually, 9 you could kind of cheat and use the calculators too. It's not really cheating, but you could use the calculators too.
Don't you bring it all to one side and then
Yeah, there's more than one way to do this, but yeah. Bring it all to one side, that's part of it.
you can separate it.
Did we do grouping? I think we did grouping, didn't we?
Well, we did, but we haven't reviewed it.
Well, because it's chapter 2. Okay. So many options.
I forgot the grouping.
Okay, yeah. So for grouping, it only works if you can take something out of the front 2, take something out of the back 2, and then it's the leftovers the same in both of them. Anyways, what can we take out of these? I think this was a grouping, right?
2x squared.
2x squared. And what's left?
X plus 1.
1, yeah. When you do 2x squared and you're taking out 2x squared, what you're really doing is dividing. So 2x squared divided by 2x squared is 1, not nothing. What can I take out of these two guys?
Negative 4.
-4,
X.
x plus 1 again. So grouping only works when your leftover is exactly the same. And what we did at this point was the outside stuff went in the first parentheses, and the inside stuff went in the second parentheses. Kind of like reverse engineering a distributive problem kind of thing. We probably should have divided everything by 2 at the beginning. That would have made our problem a little bit easier. We could take a 2 out right now, out of this thing though. If you take the 2 out, it'll make it a little bit easier to solve. You could have just divided both sides by 2 and got rid of it. That's okay. Okay. Now, well, what's one of the answers? Negative 1. How do we find that? So we want, if this factor is equal to 0, 0 times all this stuff will equal 0. So we want x squared minus 2 to equal 0. So solve that for x.
Minus the square root of 2.
Right, add the 2 over. X squared equals 2. Then use the square root trick. And it's always plus or minus. So that one and that one. Is this the chapter we did rational root theorem on? Because we could have used that one too.
Forgot that too.
Okay, rational root theorem is,
What is this one for?
this is number 9, just says solve. Rational root theorem says if there is a normal rational answer to this equation, we could have used factors of 4 or factors of 2 to find it. Factors of 4,
Oh, that was a 1.
factors of 2, 1 over 1, 2 over 1, 1 over 4, and they could all be positive or negative. And then 1 over 2, 2 over 2, which is 1, which I already have, and 4 over 2, which is 2. So those are the possible rational roots.
How'd you get the answer to the grouping? Sorry, I missed it.
This part,
Yeah.
the- for
Oh,
the-
you just.
Wait, is this still number
9.
Why are we doing that?
Let's try and explain a different way to solve it.
Oh.
Happened to what?
The 2, so it's 2, and then x squared minus 2, and you took it out of the parentheses.
Okay, I took it out just to make my numbers a little bit smaller here. I didn't have to.
So now
I could have done 2x squared minus 4 equals 0, and I would have still got this answer.
Okay.
Alright. One more?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, on 10 you have to use rational root theorem. You have time. That sounds good.
Is Jackson?
You should go check on them.
Yes.
Dang, what's the
Oh,
what?
y'all tired?
Lunch.
Because I got like 3 hours of sleep last night.
I feel like nobody slept yesterday.
I slept actually amazing. Thank you very much.
So did I.
I got a new queen size bed in my room and it takes up my whole room. I have like a
Opens the door.
12 and a half by 12 and a half, yeah. I have like one hallway that I like, that's my room.
What is it on 10 or 11?
This is 10.
Ooh, I feel you on that because I got
Do we need to have room for
queen
it?
size
like,
bed
back?
and a dresser and a chair,
gonna
and then
reprint
like I
chapter
have a
seven?
little square of space that
Yeah.
I just
You're
stand
gonna
in. That's
reprint
all.
chapter
Yeah.
7?
My room is tiny, but I feel
So we need to leave the back lane.
The only thing I needed was my
You
queen
can
size
use
mattress.
scratch paper if you want to. Okay, possible answers, possible rational answers are factors of 5 over factors of 2.
Oh, this, oh, I
I was just mentioning this like a minute ago.
I know.
Okay, so it's 1 over 1 and 5 over 1 and 1 over 2 and 5 over 2. How do I know what works?
Whatever plugs in.
Plug it in.
Plugs
And remember, we also plugged in using synthetic because if it works, then we want to divide the answer out, kind of like we did on number 4. So anyway, if I plug in 1, that'd be 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 7 is 12 minus 7 minus 5 is 0. So 1's going to work because I just checked it up here. So I'm going to use synthetic to find what's left. If 1's an answer, x minus 1 is a root. So basically what I'm doing is dividing by x minus 1 right now. Add down, multiply up. add down, multiply up, add down, multiply up, add down, whoops, multiply, multiply up, add down. Okay, this kind of stands for 2x cubed plus 5x squared plus 12x plus 5. I don't really want to change it though, I just want to find another answer that goes into this. So I'm going to use synthetic again. It is possible that 2 is a double root. Or sorry, 1 is a double root. So I should check it again and make sure and think for a second. No, 1's not going to work. Alright. So maybe try negative. I wish I had the answers here. Actually, it's in this book somewhere. So we don't have time to check everything. I think we're going to have to pause. But anyway, we need to find 2 answers. Not right now. Once we get the 2 answers, we take them out. We'll finish this tomorrow. Darn it.
Can I do it now?
Yeah. I think he's trying to put an Indian dot on
Yeah,
the
I
forehead.
put an Indian dot on it.
It turned into an Indian smear.